Welcome to Conversations with Big Rich. This is an interview-style podcast. Those interviews are all involved in the off-road industry. Being involved, like all of my guests are, is a lifestyle, not just a job. I talk to competitive teams, racers, rock crawlers, business owners, employees, media, and private park owners, men and women who have found their way into this exciting and addictive lifestyle. We discuss their personal history, struggles, successes, and reboots. We dive into what drives them to stay active and off-road. We all hope to shed some light on how to find a path into this world we live and love and call off-road.
Whether you're crawling the Red Rocks of Moab or hauling your toys to the trail, Maxxis has the tires you can trust for performance and durability. 4 wheels or 2. Maxxis tires are the choice of champions because they know that whether for work or play, for fun or competition, Maxxis tires deliver. Choose Maxxis. Tread victoriously.
Have you seen 4Low magazine yet? 4Low magazine is a high-quality, well-written, four-wheel drive focused magazine for the enthusiast market. If you still love the idea of a printed magazine, something to save and read at any time, 4Low is the magazine for you. 4Low cannot be found in stores, but you can have it delivered to your home or place of business. Visit 4lowmagazine.com to order your subscription today. On today's episode of Conversations with Big Rich, we have Armando Verdugo. Armando is a marketing and management specialist. He's been in the off-road world, well, probably for at least 13 or 14 years, I believe. I first met him with Warriors for Wounded. Came out to one of our events and set up. We'll talk about all that, but he's been with Rigid Lighting and Addictive Desert Designs and Artec, and now he's doing his own thing. And he also heads up Hero Off-Road. So we'll talk about all of those things. Hey, Armando, thank you so much for coming on board and sharing your life with us.
Thanks, Big. Yes, definitely been. It's been a long time that we've known each other, and consider you and Shelly good friends, and always excited to get some time to hang out with you guys.
Absolutely. So let's start right off. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Southern California. Don't hold that against me.
That's all right. I was born in Northern California. I just don't tell people that.
Yeah. So, born in Southern California, spent most of my life out there. And then in 2007, moved to Arizona and been in Arizona since.
And Southern California has got a lot of metropolitan areas and a lot of cities and towns and whatnot all over the place. What part of Southern California were you in?
So I was born in Los Angeles proper at General Hospital, of all places, to a very young mother, and grew up in the Monterey Park, Montebello area, and spent most of my childhood up to early 20s out in that area. Then moved out to the South Bay, Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach areas.
Nice.
Then moved to Long Beach, then out to Riverside, and then just kept going progressively further east till I got to just outside of Phoenix. And that's where I live now, is outside of Phoenix.
Excellent. And what did you do as you were growing up that prepared you for what you're doing now?
Probably nothing.
Okay, that's cool.
But the dirt's always been in my soul. I had a mini bike, a little Honda Trail 50 with a 70 motor in it. I got that on my 9th birthday. We putted that around, going up to Azusa Canyon, out to the hills in Corona where my uncle and aunt lived, through the neighborhoods by the house, going into ATCs, ATVs, kind of, and that whole dirt scene was always something I enjoyed. But career-wise, I went to a technical high school, and I was doing metallurgical technology. I was doing failure analysis, and that's what I did for 20, almost 20 years. I was in that field, but I always had dirt in my soul. And 2009, when that industry kind of shrunk up a bit and I got laid off, I went searching for something different and decided to jump into the off-road side.
Awesome. And with that technical stuff, the kind of job that you had, what were you doing up until that the recession there where killed everybody's careers?
So I was selling robots and microscope automation. So it was a lot into semiconductor fab. I would be bunny suited up and in a fab, setting up wafer handler robots, doing automation for microscope stages, so people can scan a full chip and look for defects. And that's I was doing sales and outside sales. I ran the U.S. for a couple of different companies doing sales.
Okay, so sales have been kind of in your blood, and that. Did you ever take any college classes in marketing or anything, or was it just jumping in the fire?
And just jumping the fire. I tried to do some business classes. I graduated high school barely. Tried to go to college and just college just wasn't for me. I'm more of a jump in and learn and do, and that's how I'm gonna be the best at what I'm gonna do. And just push myself to learn more, do more. Luckily enough to have when I was doing on the scientific research side, I had a boss that kind of really pushed me to understand the business aspects and how a business ran, how to properly perform things and keep yourself on top of the business and to work for the business. And that was a huge inspiration for me, and it kept me and inspired me. And it's just tools that I've used for the last probably 20 some years, just building myself and building my career and where I'm at now.
Okay, good. So you had a good mentor in those early years. That's awesome. I can't
Yes, yeah.
I can't say that I had that. There was people I looked up to in the various jobs that I had, but nobody ever. I don't remember anybody ever taking me under their wing and saying, you know, this is why you should do something like this. And I guess the only one that I can remember doing that was a high school teacher I had that ended up being he was a shop teacher and he taught photography. And that's what got me into um, Brooks Institute and graduating as a commercial photographer from college, but also being on the yearbook staff for the whole time in high school and doing that kind of stuff. But it the college that I didn't really prepare me for a world in off road, except for maybe the how things should look. I mean, it did tell me how to finish jobs and how to get things done. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's sometimes it's big to have just something to push you into that mindset. And it can be very small or it can be a larger portion. It's just a matter of how your mind processes it and keep pushing on it.
It amazes me how many people in off road came from other industries and were able to create jobs or a lifestyle from what they enjoyed doing personally in off road. And that's one of the things that's always attracted me to off road, whether it's the racing side or the enthusiast side or the business side, is that it is passion driven.
Yeah, definitely. It was something that I took into consideration. I got other job offers in the industry to come in and work with companies, and I had had enough. And being someone that really enjoyed off road, in my late teens, I had a Toyota pickup on 36s at the time. It was ridiculous. I used to take it up and go play with it and bust through the desert and do all the stuff that I wanted to do. And then I just didn't do it for the longest time because it wasn't part of what my life was at that point. And a little further out down the road, I picked up this international travel law from some friends for $350, and I was gonna rebuild that to be my toy and kind of get back out and do some of the things I wanted to do. And in doing that, it really opened up my eyes on going back and looking through things that I'd been doing for so long, and decided that this is kind of what I want to be into. I just seen so many different products and the industry and innovations at the time. It was the industry was changing a lot back in the 2010s ish. The JK was coming into its own, and a lot more products were coming out around that, but it also pushed out to other vehicles. So I was seeing that, and it was just exciting, and it was a good time for me to come in and kind of build myself into what I wanted to be on this this industry.
And how did that first step happen after you? Because that was after you got to Arizona. Did you jump right into did you jump right into it, or did you work other jobs and then find your way into it?
No, I jumped right in. I got I got through the year working for the company I was with, and the year was terrible. I could do 4 million a year in sales, and I did about 500,000. So I knew I was on the chopping block. I knew there was no way they were going to be able to support me and keep me going. So I had already started kind of looking around, and like right before Christmas, they laid me off, and I looked around and was like, okay, what am I going to do? And I found a job, and I applied for it and got no response back from what my resume getting sent in. And I got in the car and I walked in there and walked into this warehouse, and that was a Sphere 4x4, an Israeli-based company that had a U.S. location just outside of Scottsdale, or in North Scottsdale. And I walked in and started asking questions, and the owner and I just started talking, and he offered me a job. So
that doesn't surprise me that it works that way. Knowing so many people in the off-road world, knowing that it's passion driven, that we're doing what we love to do, that a lot of business owners are not businessmen, but they're enthusiasts or fabricators or mechanics, whatever, and they don't have the business acronym, I guess you might say, to come through or follow through with a lot of small things, what they might consider small things, like looking at resumes.
Yeah, and it was, I didn't have any real automotive aftermarket experience. I had zero automotive aftermarket experience on my resume. I sold research instruments for years and worked for field analysis labs. Just my resume didn't show what I wanted to do or my enthusiasm for that side of it. But we went and talked, and I believe it. I even had my daughter with me, and we sat in the conference room for like an hour and a half, and my kid was just bouncing off the walls, just like, "Are we ready to go? Can we go? Can we go?" And we just kept talking, and that was my foot in. From there, just made contacts and left there and went to work for Rigid Industries. Made more contacts there. That didn't work out as well as I hoped it would, and went to work for ADD, and again just built what I was doing. At the same time, when I worked for Sphere, they asked me to come aboard and help with Wheelers for Warriors, which is essentially a nonprofit organization that was doing builds and donations to veterans and active duty service members. And we had done a rebuild a couple Jeeps. We built the Jeep for a guy named Mike Brewer, who was based out in New Mexico. He got blew up in Iraq, lost his nose like blew off his face, his hands basically blew up to hamburger. They sewed him up, brought him back together, but he could never really use his hands. He had a nice TJ that was about 50% complete. We transported it in, we rebuilt it, and gave it back to him, and had an event out in Arizona and brought a bunch of people in. Had a great day, great time. Gave his Jeep back to him, was able to take it off and use it for a couple of years, and then I don't know, I don't know if they needed the money or whatever, but he ended up selling it. But he got it back, and we gave that back, and that was a big change, a life changer for me, in doing stuff with that organization, and I learned a lot about the military, and about what these guys give, and how little we give back. And it was really important for me to get involved with that, and to continue with that. But once I left the sphere, it kind of pushed me out. They're like, no, you're leaving, so this organization is going to do its own thing. And from there, it never really did anything. It kind of just fizzled away. But in the meantime, I had created my own, started off, did all the paperwork, did all the filings, kind of self-funded for the first year or so. And that's when Hero Off-Road started coming about in 2012.
Okay. Yeah, I met you during that first time period there. You came out to one of the events and set up and helped us. I believe it was Tucson or Congress. I don't remember exactly which. You might know that better.
Yeah, so Tucson we set up Wheelers for Warriors, and Mike Brewer's Jeep was out there, and he got to meet a bunch of drivers, and he had a great time out there. Him and his wife and the kids came out and saw the races, met some drivers. We had replaced the hood on his Jeep, and we had all the drivers come out and sign the hood, and it was a fun time. He really enjoyed it, but then he never got the hood, and the hood is still floating around here somewhere in Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a shame. So anybody that's listening to this, if you've seen that hood, get in touch with Armando.
Oh, I know where it's at.
Oh, you know where it's at? Okay, forget.
I know where it's at. It's in safe keepings, but it's here in Phoenix, and it's never there's never been an interest for them to have it or anything. But it's definitely it's a showpiece. I can get a picture and send it to you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So then you move on from Wheelers for Warriors. You started Hero Off-Road, and that's while you were still at Esfer, or as you went on to Rigid?
As I was at Rigid, yeah.
Okay.
So it was something I started when I was at Rigid, and that's when I came up to Congress. When I first started Hero Off-Road, and we did the setup, and we had some good time up there. I think that was like the big kickoff. I sold a bunch of shirts, and that kind of pushes off to the next level, and it's kind of grown up from there. We're doing a few events a year. Our biggest fundraiser event has been Crawl America, which happens all over the country. It's a small group of guys that come in, and guys and girls. I say guys, universal. And get to wheel for a week, and kind of just to get teams, and it's a big fundraiser, and that allows us to do a lot more stuff like the Patriot Crawl, which we do out in Moab every year.
Okay.
Patriot Crawl, we had about 120 participants out there this year, and it's all free for veterans and active duty service members and their families. They come out, we feed them, they get a t-shirt. This year we did commemorative badges for the trails that they went on. And then we have a raffle. This year we had the guy, Jeremy from Rock Crawler came out, Tony from Genrite was out there, the Fly Off Road guys were out there, Apex Steering guys, and just the industry guys came out in droves this year, and it was one of our biggest events ever, and it was a really great time.
Excellent. And is that something you guys plan on doing again at Easter Jeep this year?
Yes, every year at Easter Jeep, we plan for Patriot Crawl to happen, and it's usually like the Sunday as everyone's coming in. So before the show happens, so just we start off Sunday wheeling before it starts getting everyone gets out there, and we go out there wheeling. We do that for the day.
Excellent. I'd like to attend it this year.
Oh, definitely. I will make sure you get the invite.
Cool. So then you're working hero in these at least these two crawls. You go to rigid, and then you end up at Addictive Desert Designs. And I remember you weren't. One of the things that I've realized about people in off road is nobody ever quits off road. Once they're in the business, all they do is change business cards.
Exactly.
So, do you have like a stack of cards from all the companies you've been at?
Well, I'd like to think it's not a stack, but yes, I have a few business cards that are sitting here from the companies.
Yeah.
Um, so
And
yeah, so after I left ADD, I worked for Arctic Industries, and I worked Arctic Industries a little over 8.5 years.
that's right. Um, that's a pretty good company. I remember when they first got started, it was very, very small Arizona company that nobody really seemed to know about, but you guys blew it all up.
Yeah, it was one of the main reasons that I came aboard, and I'd been working with Nate and Artie even before I went to work for them. My Jeep was in their booth at KOH. My Jeep was in their booth at EJS and a few other shows here and there. My JK was one of their development vehicles for rear trusses and some components that were coming out for the JK. So as that market started to grow, I was working with them behind the scenes as I was still working for another company. And then came time for hiring someone to come in and help with sales and do the sales management side of it. And I came on board, and we just started pushing, and it was grow it, and make it do what it needs to do. And I came in and did the marketing side of it, pushed on the social, really grew that out, and continued to develop new products, and just the company just kind of pushed itself into where it needed to be as it grew through it. So the switch from Arizona to Utah, bringing in a laser in house and a little more manufacturing capabilities, kind of helped push that growth and really push us into making sure that we could sustain that.
So when the company was down in Benson, that is where, I mean, I can remember going to the open house when they got the new shop done. And I think that was on Artie's property down there in Benson, if I remember right. And were you working for him at that point?
The first open house I was not. The second open house I was.
Okay.
I think that's how that works.
Okay. And then they made the decision to base the company in Utah, which I thought at that time, I was like, oh, you know, everybody's going to have to go to Utah, but you didn't. And you still were able to keep that relationship and work for years with them, and then would just make the trip up there occasionally. Is that how that worked?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Benson from my house is 126 miles. So I wasn't working in Benson. I would go down there once a week, once every other week, to do like in face meetings. But most of the time we did everything remote. I was hired to work remote, and that continued even when they moved up there. So I was asked a number of times to go up there, but I love Arizona.
Right. I get it.
And my family's here. My kids had let's see, at the time my oldest was in junior high school. My youngest was still pretty young. Um, and sadly enough, my wife was making more money than I was. So I really had to stay where that was.
Right. I get that. And being able that you were doing the marketing and social media stuff, it's, you know, it's easier to do that remotely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely there's issues with it. I mean, everyone wants to see you in the office more regularly, and it's like, okay, well, between traveling for shows and events that I was doing per year, I wasn't going to go spend a week, a month up there. I'd never be home. So, um, when I sold research instruments, I was gone 200 plus nights a year, and I wanted to be done with that. And I would travel when I needed to travel, but I didn't want any extra travel. So we found a way to work around it. We had teams and video chats and texts and emails and whatnot to get us through it, and we did what we needed to do with the tools.
Right. And that's one of the great things about technology is being able to free you up to do something like that. When I was growing up, I mean, before, 2000, none of that was really possible. I mean, you had pagers. Some people had computers. I certainly didn't. And, it was, I mean, I can remember when the first cell phone that I got was one of those bricks, the,
Yep,
the Motorola brick,
the
just a
Motorola
little,
brick.
right. And, that was actually, I'm going to say it now, it was a hacked one. And I really didn't have an account, but I had an account if you wanted, so Motorola or whoever it was that I was using minutes from, you never caught me.
uh,
So anyway, the what is it about the marketing and the media, social media side of that has always interested you?
Um, it's a challenge. It's the win. It's the whole part of sales. It's a competition to go in there and be better, to do more things. For me, it's to learn more. Even though I'm not really a person that's going to go to college, I'm always learning. I'm always reading. I'm always reading something, even if it's just magazines that show up at my door. It's brochures I bring back, books, anything that is based around the industry. I'll just sit and read it, and that's what I do. I follow trends, pay attention to what's out there, what my competition's doing, and that's all I can do. Just as long as I stay current on that, then I feel like I'm doing good. The shift going to my own business after leaving Artec creates its own uh, set of problems that I'm continuing to work through and figuring out some things. But it's going well, and it's only going to get better.
Right. And there's quite a few guys and gals that are doing that now that have all, doing the same thing that you're doing, where, you're in-house, your own marketing and media company for other companies. And I I think it's great that's happening. Bringing in your expertise, and then also the number of people you've met and in the industry, especially on the business side of it, being a lot of business to business and going to the shows and stuff. So you bring something really unique there.
I'm hoping that's what I'm doing. Trying to build the value in that. I've been very fortunate to have gone out and built a lot of relationships. I made a ton of friends. a lot of which are helping me and pushing me and bringing even business to me. I think Jeremy from Rockcrawler is probably my biggest cheerleader right now, and he's kind of pushing for me to get myself up into where I want to be. And we've gone over and talked about things and done a lot of things together. Over the last year, we spent time like in we went to the Keys with the Shea Brigade group, and we just spent like a week together after Jeep Beach, and we shared a hotel room. We went out and shared the road and dinners and everything, and really became better friends than we had been in the past, and just really kind of hit on a different level. So, like I said, I've had a lot of push from some good people, and continue to keep getting pushed by even more people every day. So that helps.
Excellent. So before we get diving into your new business, let's talk some more about Hero Off Road and where that's at, and kind of where it came from, and give some background on it, and what's for the future of that.
So as we kind of went over, I was working with Wheelers for Warriors, and basically I fell in love with what we were doing to give back. And when I left and I couldn't be involved with it anymore, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm like looking around like, okay, who's got an organization? Who can I help? And there was really nothing out there that really fit what I wanted. So I just told my wife, I'm like, here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this and start this. And at the time I didn't have a crap ton of money sitting around to do this. I was just going to just all sweating hard work on it. So I put out a little bit of money. I went and got the business license. I did a nonprofit organization in Arizona only, because IRS takes time and money and whatever, and I just didn't have that to put into it. So I just started doing that, and then here and there I'd make more money. I'd stash it away, and I bought a small order of t-shirts, turned around and sold that and made more money, and then bought another order of t-shirts, turned around and sold those, and just kind of built that up. Spent a lot of time on the social side, dealing with growing the channel, getting people out there. We did giveaways and stuff with some of our sponsors, and really helped grow that to where the point we could do the 501c3. Did that in 2013, I believe, was when we got that 501c3 done, and been going since then. We've done Patriot Crawl for the past, I believe it's 6 years that we've been doing Patriot Crawl. We do an annual toy drive here in Phoenix. We usually do that every year. The last couple of years after COVID, it's kind of changed it. So last year we just did a movie night at what theater, like, was a fundraiser, and then this year we did a camp out in Florence. We had about 40 people out there, campers and everything on site. Had a Kyle Hensley from Hensley Off Road. It's out here in Florence, Arizona. He came out, led trails, and brought a bunch of people. We put a pig in the ground and had a Hawaiian pig roast out in the desert. Stuff like that is what we do, and it was a lot of veterans and some active duty guys out there, and it's that the Patriot Crawl. Patriot Crawl, we've had the same participants come year after year. And the first couple of years, it was fun. It was real funny when these guys didn't really know each other. And I sat back and I just watched them giving each other crap by just different branches. And they would just do it all day long. And I heard the Army guys giving the Marine guys crap, and then everyone's giving the Air Force guys crap, and then the Navy guys are giving each other crap to the Marines. And it was fun. And I just saw like this camaraderie that I didn't understand because I didn't serve. And I saw it, and it was like It's still to this day, those guys come every year and they give each other crap the whole time. I just sit there and love and just watch it. It's just fun. And what we're gonna do at Hero and what we do at Hero is we're not making $1 million a year. I mean, we're lucky if we can raise $15,000-20,000 for a year, but then we put that into Patriot Crawl and the breakfast and the raffles and the shirts and whatever we do to make sure that they're having a great day to just get their mind off of anything else.
Right. That's
And
awesome.
It's always been my thing with Hero is that I'm not going to save all of them, but I'd like to save one. We have 22 a day that take their lives. I'd like to get to one and stop one. Start there, and then we can build from there. But we expect so much from them. They sign the check, they give it all, and some leave with nothing, and some leave with problems, and we don't ever teach them how to be humans, be part of the society that we're in, and that's a hard part. So the camaraderie that I see out there is like, whoa, okay, these guys get it. These guys are feeling it, and they come out and they do stuff and enjoy it.
Give them something else to look forward to.
Yeah. We've done the races. I mean, for a few years ago, when Roland had his Ultra 4 car, we came out and we did the race out on a Tucson when we had the co-driver spots, and we did that for the most of the year. We did 10 races that year. We've sent a guy to go do the Baja 500, and you don't just go and watch the race. We give you a helmet, we give you a suit, we strap you in a car, and we send you off and go play. And at the end of the day, you take that helmet home, and the helmet has your name on it, has our logo on it, and it's a really cool memento of the fact that there are people that care. So when you're feeling that down, I said the guys like that have the helmets. I have it sitting on my desk or on a bookshelf or somewhere, and I can always look at that helmet and smile. And that's all I can ask for, is just making sure that I'm redirecting that, and we're doing what we need to do to redirect that and change the way that they're feeling of loneliness and being lost.
Right. Excellent. Well, we have our Baghdad event coming up in February, the 18th and 19th. Feel free, if you'd like to, let's talk about getting you guys involved in that. The weekend before that is we'll be doing the parade up in Wickenburg, where we'll take off-road vehicles and be in the parade and do some advertising for the Baghdad event. But if you guys want to join us somehow for the parade, again, let me know, and we can make all that happen.
Oh, definitely. I will. I'll talk to the rest of the guys here and see what we can do to get some guys out there. I know I got a few out here that might be interested in heading up.
Cool, excellent. So now let's talk about what you're doing now. And well, first of all, how do people get involved to help you help the veterans?
So HeroOffroad.org is our website. You can drop an email over there. We have Facebook, Instagram also. Send message. We've kind of scaled back on some of the external fundraising that we're doing, because we've got to a point where I have an excess, and just with COVID, we haven't been able to do all the stuff we want to do. So now this year we're going to do a lot more of the give back. So we're looking to do more race stuff, of course, Patriot Crawl. And then we're doing something we've never done before, and we're going to do a tuna trip. We're going to take, I think we get 28 or 30 seats on a boat, and we're going to take them out and go do I think it's a 1.5 or 2 day tuna trip. So definitely not the typical off-road, but there's definitely no roads on the ocean.
Very true. Very true.
So yeah, so
excellent.
you can go in there. We'll have merchandise up and available probably here in the next few weeks. I got a bunch of hats and shirts coming in right now that we're getting prepped to start doing some more fundraising on that side again. So definitely herooffroad.org would be a good place to look at some of the swag and donations and stuff can happen there.
Cool. One of the things I'm going to suggest, I just suggested it with another race organization or racing group that is doing something very similar with veterans, and that is getting involved with the as an organization, getting involved with the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame, ORMHOF. There's a lot of business owners that are involved in off-road racing. The amount of give back that they can provide is incredible, and being part of that organization gets you the opportunity to be in front of some of those people. So that's something you might want to look for, and that's ormhof.org. I believe it is ORMHOF. And Barbara Rainey is the general manager of ORMHOF, and she's out of the Reno area. So and a good friend. So that's somebody to look at as well, and an organization to get involved with.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Barbara.
Okay, excellent, cool. Then let's talk about your business and what we've talked a little bit on it, but let's expand and find out more about it, so that if there's people out there that are looking for some marketing and social media help, that they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so this year I wanted to do something different. I've been feeling a little stagnant with where I was, and nothing really about the company or what was happening there, but I just felt I needed a new challenge. And I just started looking around and kind of going over what I was doing, how I was doing it, and came up with this idea that why wouldn't I be able to give my time to smaller businesses that don't have the staffing or the budget to expand into the digital world, and really help grow their business. It's a huge part of what really spurred the growth of our tech industries, is that the digital social side. And I've been doing it. I have experience in doing it. I've helped grow this business and do all this with our tech. And it was time for me to go out and try to do it on my own. And as you stated earlier, a lot of the businesses in this industry are people that are enthusiasts. They're not necessarily business people. They know they have an idea for a great product. They know that they have an idea to make this business grow, but they're not really sure on how to go about some of it. And that's where you start hiring in employees, but it's hard to hire an employee when you're really not making money yet, or it's a part-time business. So I'm there to offer my time and services to the smaller businesses that don't have that capability, and bring them into the digital side, help build a Facebook page if they don't have one. There's things that happen between Facebook and your website and Google, your website and customers. All of this is, your website is your nexus of your business, and a crappy website can really kill a business. So look at all aspects of your website, how it reacts to the outside world. So most people don't know Facebook advertising. You get a Facebook pixel. The pixel is essentially a trigger that's on your website that then links between your Facebook advertising and your Facebook account, and lets you know who's coming back and how your advertisement's working. Same with Google Analytics, Google Ads. It all does that back and forth, and it's all linked to your website. So on the digital side, your website is your information. It's your window to the world.
Right.
And you want to make that window pretty. You want to make that window be open and inviting, and that's how you're going to grow your business in this day and age. There's so many people that I mean, look at all of these shopping malls and large scale stores, because people just aren't going out and shopping anymore. They want to go out. They want to go out to maybe the local shop that that can install it, but they want to do all the research and see the parts online, see the pictures, and have the media. So part of what I'm doing is taking your website, looking at your content, telling you what content we need, changing the content, making sure that your product descriptions and your content management is all up to speed. The end of the day, when you go to a website to go buy something, if you don't have all the information given to you on that product page and you have questions about it, now you have to stop, wait until they're possibly open if it's at night. Try to get time off of work if they have an 8 to 5 business hours and you don't have flexibility to call. So there's a lot of factors that go on, and then people just forget and don't call. But what we're trying to do is make your website and all of your channels all feeding together, and provide all the information that is relevant to that product, so someone can come in and buy that product without ever having to talk to somebody or forget about it, or go to the next website and find another website that has better information that has a similar product and buy it.
Okay.
So it's a strategy of getting all of your digital properties and put them together and make them work and feed to each other.
Okay. Cool. And I can see where a lot of small companies, especially, where they can't afford to have somebody on staff, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and go through everything as a regular employee, where if they can contract somebody to do that in a smaller way, but you've got a number of businesses that you're working with, it keeps those smaller businesses, keeps their costs down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not always just a small business. It can be a larger business that needs even more help. There's never enough time in the day. You run a business, and there's so much you want to do, and there's so much staff that you can even hire on a large scale size, and sometimes you just need to have a little more help, and that's what I'm here is I'll pick up on the digital marketing side and help facilitate you getting to the position where you need to be in. And my biggest goal here is that I have customers for a short period of time, and then they understand and they grow to the point where they can hire someone, and I go on to find new clients. And that will be the business strategy for me is when to keep a client on for a certain amount of time and hope that they're growing and they're going to the next level and going off and doing it on their own and learning the skills and growing from there.
Okay. And I noticed that on your social media, it said BAM. Is that the name of the company that you've started, or what is that?
Yeah, it's BAM Strategic.
Okay.
And it started off as it was originally Badass Marketing, and then I was told I couldn't really use that. I was like, why not? I'm doing motorsports. I mean, come on. I'm doing Jeep and off road, and I was strongly urged not to use Badass Marketing, and so I was like, all right. So then one day I was sitting there and I just had it written across the paper, and I went BAM, and then all I had visions of was Batman. Bam, pow.
Yeah.
That's where it's gone from there. So I added this strategic for my licensing for my LLC filing. So we had to come up with a name, and I was like, all right, BAM Strategic is what it's going to be. So that's
Nice.
that's the story.
I get it. We were looking at a business opportunity getting into adventure snacks, you might say. Nuts and beef jerky, things like that we could sell at our events, and then get into 4-wheel drive shops, all that kind of thing. And we were looking at what kind of name to use, and we were going to come up with Big's Adventure Snacks, which is, and I said it should be Big's Adventure Snacks and Supplies, so that it was Big's ass. And then, some of the marketing could, grab a handful of Big's nuts. I had all these different lines that could come off of it. And Shelley was like, no, we're going to have to rethink that. So I thought it was a great way to market and stuff. But then COVID hit and we weren't doing as many events, and most of the big events that we would go to help market our events were all shut down, and everything just kind of, the wheels came screeching to a halt thanks to COVID. So we didn't move forward with any of that, and don't know if I will or not. But if anybody out there wants some ideas on names, I can come up with some really good ones. And it sounds like Armando can do the same thing.
It was one of those things. I was like, I don't even know what I want to name this. I don't even know if I want a name. And everyone's like, no, you have to have one. I'm like, damn it.
Exactly.
Okay. So BAM was more of a joke than anything, and now it's just sticking. So now it is what it is. I thought about a DBA, and now I'm just like, no, it's just BAM. It's just going to be BAM. That's all it is.
Perfect. So let's talk about one of the things that I always got a kick out of on social media, watching and reading what you were doing. You started doing these memes. Do you want to talk about those?
Oh, my PSAs?
Yes. There you go.
I don't know. It was a way for me to vent, I guess. We all go through it. I mean, anyone who works at a job with customer service, you deal with customers, and if you deal with G pages, you deal with people that don't really know, don't put the time out, whatever. So it just basically kind of fed off of that, of just like, come on, not again. I mean, we can't keep doing this. And so that's what all that was. It was just me just kind of venting a little bit. There was some truth to some of them, and someone was just like, it was fun. And you know me, I always have a smile on my face. I always have a good time. I always like to be laughing, and life's too short for me to be so serious about stuff like that. It's social media, not death.
Correct. True.
And it's fun. It should be fun. It's turned away from being so much fun, and it's gotten super serious, and now you can't joke, now you can't say anything. It goes to that brown guy. Like it was the brown Arctic. It was the brown Arctic guy for the longest time. It's the brown BAM guy now. You know what? Nobody cares that I'm brown. But the funny thing is, someone goes, "Oh yeah, the guy from Arctic," and they're like, "Which one?" And they're like, the Hispanic one. I'm like, I'm not Hispanic. The Mexican one. I'm not Mexican. I'm an American. I'm brown. Just call me brown. So I just stopped the whole idea of tiptoeing around and going, it's the brown Arctic guy. That's all it is.
I remember one time I needed to communicate with somebody that was there that didn't speak English, and I walked up to you and I said, "Hey, Armando, do you speak Spanish?" You go, "No, I don't speak Spanish." And I'm like, "Shit, what good of Mexican are you? You can't speak Spanish." And you looked at me like I was like an alien. Then I walked off because I was I was trying to find somebody so I could communicate with this guy.
And I believe my response was, "I'm the wrong kind of Mexican."
There you go. I think so. Oh my Lord, we've had some fun. And that's one thing that, that the off-road world, whether it's, rock sports or the dirt sports, it's so much different than other industries out there. I mean, I've been in, I've been in automotive repair and automotive parts, and I've been a landscaper, and I've done photography, and I've worked retail in various other stores and for companies, and it's none of it was as fun as it is day to day in off road.
No, no, there's nothing, and you might have glimpses of it in other industries that I've been in, but never just like every day. I want to get up. I mean, since I've left the other industry, I want to get up and I want to go to work. It's not like I'm gonna not work. I'm gonna get up and go to work, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna go have the best time I can doing what I do. I mean, we did the elevated experience in October. Went out to Colorado. Corey Osborne led. Gerald Lee was out there. Chambliss Fuel and Will Perriman, who used to work with me at Artec, kind of put this event together. Tim from BFG was out there. Jill and Brian. I mean, like, it was a small group, but it was like so much fun. All we did was, it was just radio chatter, just joking through the radio, around the campfire, around dinner. It was just a great time. There was so much laughing. My side hurt most days trying to drive around. But you don't get that in any other industry. You get that here, and these people that were casual acquaintances become more and more friends and better friends, and we'll continue to do that. And this is all what it is. I mean, I've known Gerald for 13 years now, probably one of my idols before I even came to industry. And first year I did EJS, he was there, and I went up like, oh, Gerald Lee. And he just talked to me like I was a normal dude. And from then we've just been friends and talked and whatever. And he's been another big cheerleader to mine. And it's great. Just that this is how it is. You don't have someone in this industry that is going to really be rude to you. Maybe one day, on a bad day, they got stressed out. They just, I don't know, lost whatever. You might have a bad day, but I've never been around anyone in this industry that's just always like that. Everyone just wants to have fun. Everyone's in this with a passion, and that passion comes through in everything we do, from hard work to hard play and everything in between.
Very true. Very true. So is there anything that we haven't touched base on that you would like to discuss?
We're just going to gloss over the fact that my Scout isn't done still. Okay, how about that?
I'll tell you.
I'm going to out myself because I'm going to hear it later, so I might as well just say it. Yeah, my Scout's not done. Half of it's sitting in my garage, half of it's sitting in the backyard. At some point, I'll have time to get away from building crap at my house and get in my garage and actually get it done.
The nice thing about being in Arizona is it's not turning into a rust pile.
Yeah, that's a funny thing, is that I had the whole body sandblasted so it could patina, and the guy's like, here, I'm going to spray with this stuff, just let it sit out in the rain, let it sit outside for about 6 months, and you should get a perfect patina. It's been 3.5 years sitting outside, and it's finally getting a little patina on it.
That's awesome. So
it was timing for me. I was just waiting for the patina. That's all it was.
Yeah, there you go. You got to do things in stages. It doesn't make sense to jump ahead.
Exactly.
So I'll let you in on something. When I first got into off-road back in the late 90s, I was working and helping other promoters put on events, and just fell in love with the idea of being in the off-road world. And was going to be a spotter, then thought, well, I'm going to build a buggy. I got to get involved with the sport. I'll become a promoter because I can I'll get a buggy built someday. Well, that was in like 99, 2000. It's now 2023. I still don't have a buggy. My beat to death Cherokee is the is the most capable rig I've ever owned, which if anybody ever sees it out on the trail, it does not disappoint. It goes where a good driver in it can go much farther than I can. I don't consider myself a good driver, but it still shows a lot of other vehicles up, things with full bodies at least. And I still don't have a buggy after 23 years. So.
Well, the sad thing is I have everything to have it done. So I have a garage that is basically racking on one side, and I have every part that I've purchased for it. So everything is there. It just needs to be moved off that shelf onto the vehicle and get it going. I believe there might be even spare parts of things because I bought more, not realizing I'd already bought something just like it. Or it changed mine. I went from red to black. That's happened too. But it's for me, it's not really the vehicle. I took my Ram out to Colorado for the Elevate experience, and my Ram went down Schofield Pass.
Nice.
And I don't know how or why I thought that was a good idea, but I did. And it's just one of those things. It just doesn't matter what you're in. Are you out there doing it? You have a smile on your face? Are you happy? Keep doing it.
Perfect. That's a great segue right there. Well, Armando, thank you so much for joining us and talking about what you've done, what you're doing, and what's happening. Everybody, I want to remind everybody, herooffroad.org to help with the 501c3, buy some swag, whatever. I want to make sure that you, Armando, understand that we'd love to see you guys out at Baghdad. So let's talk later on about that. And I hope for continued success with you in the industry. And if there's ever anything that we can do, reach out.
I appreciate it, and definitely we'll talk about Baghdad, and we'll see what we need to do. I definitely love to get some more guys in cars at some of the races this year. So definitely something that we're planning on, and we should be pushing on this month to start getting a schedule together.
Excellent. Well, Armando, thank you so much.
Thanks, Vic. Appreciate it. Say hi to Shelly for me, and hopefully we'll catch you guys soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, that's another episode of Conversations with Big Rich. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you could do us a favor and leave us a review on any podcast service that you happen to be listening on, or send us an email or a text message or a Facebook message, and let me know any ideas that you have, or if there's anybody that you have that you think would be a great guest, please forward the contact information to me so that we can try to get them on. And always remember, live life to the fullest. Enjoying life is a must. Follow your dreams and live life with all the gusto you can. Thank you.